Ooh. Alright. Woo. This is light work. Come on, spill the tea. Yeah. Ooh. Alright.
What's up, everybody? Well, if you've landed here, you probably are interested in doing a Coyote swap. So this is my first one. I am by no means an expert, but I watched a million videos on YouTube and researched Facebook groups and forums and stuff like that. And I found most of the answers, and the rest of the answers I got by doing it myself. And also a huge help was Power by the Hour, which I got many of my parts from there. I'll probably include a parts list in the description for that, and maybe links to any of the stuff that you may find not easy to find on the internet. Most stuff is pretty easy to find. Reach out to Power by the Hour. They gave me the best response email with parts that I might need, installation videos or instructions on everything. I was blown away, and that's why I went with them for most of the parts, because man, their customer service is amazing. I can't stress that enough. They were super wonderful to deal with. Anyway, this video will include snippets, bits and pieces of what it took to get this Coyote in my F100. And it may apply to, you know, doing it in a Fox body Mustang, a lot of other things. Some stuff, of course, not, but a lot of the swap stuff will go hand in hand. I won't walk you through every bit of it, but I will give you, some of the things. You know, it was kind of fun. My son was in here helping me, so I'll include some of that. But this isn't a walkthrough. It's just to point out like all the things that we did to make it fit. So let's get started with some old footage, some of this new footage. I'll try to catch up with some of the things I might have missed. So here we go. I've got a full frame Crown Vic on here. I know a lot of people complain, but I'm going for road course stuff with this truck, and Ford put a lot of time and money and R&D, a lot more than, bolt-on companies for using F100 chassis. So that's why I am going this route. I think it's going to be awesome for that, and I've done a lot of chassis stiffening. So it's going to be sweet. Gonna brake good, handle good. But back to what it takes to get a Coyote engine in a swap. Okay, so here we are, more parts from Power by the Hour. This is gonna be for the alternator relocation. Normally it's on the bottom side over here on a Coyote. We are moving it over to there. And we are also doing, you can see in the background, we're doing the Crown Vic power steering pump. So they send us with belts for the kit. There's the low profile power steering pump pulley bracket, alternator bracket. They even send you tensioners. So the first part we did was you have to grind out right there, take that boss off, grind this boss off, cut it off, grind it, and that boss. And then I will show you how the studs work on putting in the stud and spacer things for the alternator. We have our studs now, right there, right there, right there. Our belt tensioner from Power by the Hour, and our alternator bracket. Everything went on like a champ. Looks super good, so we'll stick it on. Smooth like butter. There we go. It went on like a champ. Everything went how it was supposed to be. There's the new tensioner down there, the belt that they supply. Everything looks really good. My clearances are good down in there, up in there. It's a little tight, but it's got plenty of clearance. So on to the power steering bracket. Let's do this. First step of the power steering bracket, easy peasy. Mount their little handy dandy tool here for the tensioner stub and drill a 17/64 hole, 3/8 of an inch deep. Done. And just like that, we have our tensioner now and our power steering bracket. And that'll fit the Crown Vic power steering pump, the Mustang GT, like say 2004, 2000, whatever. So yeah, I'll get that pump mounted. All right, one other nice thing to note is they sent a new idler pulley there too, which is pretty cool. Can't beat that. I just went with, since I'm using the Crown Vic rack and power steering and all that, I kept the Crown Vic pump. That is also the same as like a 99 to 04 Mustang pump. I happen to get a 05 Mustang power steering reservoir because the lines come off straight down the bottom. The Crown Vic one right there, they come off sideways. That allowed me to, actually I just painted the bracket for mounting this thing, but it'll mount low. My air intake can go above it, and this thing will just hide out real low like that. I was able to use the Crown Vic lines here. I just cut some off there and cut some off there, and they tuck real nice. Well, today is going to be work on the Coyote engine day. We've got a few parts. Karsten is here to help me out from Power by the Hour. Just a few little miscellaneous things up here. I'll go through them as we're putting them in. But yeah, Karsten's on spring break, so I get some help, which is pretty awesome. Yep. Right? And he likes working in the shop. Yep. We need to get this done so we can work on his 65 F100. We're gonna get to going here. First thing we're gonna do is we need to get access to the coolant tubes behind there. So we're gonna get the get this hose off the thermostat housing and get up there to the water neck. So we're gonna put a piece up there. So Karsten's gonna take off the throttle body. Go ahead, bud.
I'll get that on there.
Perfect, and then you can kind of wiggle that and pop it off. Might be just kind of give it a wiggle. There we go. We were going to take this tube off and that tube off. We're going to put the Power by the Hour tubes in there, which will then go back to the heater core. All right, let's get that hose off. Actually, you can just take the bolts off for now. I may have to give you a hand wiggling those out, maybe. Okay, now get that one down in there. Yep. Boom, got it. Next things are the water outlets. And you can see that one up in there. I got those from Power by the Hour. And we got our heater hoses running back over there. You can see down there is their H thing, so that when you close the heater valve, there's still coolant that flows back from side to side. You have to push it on there really good. There we go. Beauteous.
Mine was shaky.
The Evap and putting in the little delete block off. And that info is right there. Also from Power by the Hour. I also had them do the ECU for the anti-theft, and I did, my engine came with the engine harness and transmission harness, and then I bought Power by the Hour's body harness, they call it. I decided to use them instead of the Ford stuff, and it worked out really nice. Their wiring is super awesome. So you can see here, they give you plenty, knowing the MAF is gonna be way over there. They label everything nice. Let's find another one here. That one says ground. This one says fan power. I'm actually just using it for a trigger. And then it comes with, I can't reach up here, or can't see, but I can reach, I guess. Their fuse box, which is awesome. All the wiring is there. They give you a length. You can't see it because we hid it. It goes underneath the engine and up inside. You can see it right back there. That one goes inside. Mine's the 6R80 transmission, so it has all the wires labeled for the push button shifting up and down. It's got the pigtail for the throttle pedal. It's got switch 12 volt. Power ground was out here. Yes, and it's got the key cranking. Everything's labeled. It's got the stuff for your neutral safety for a manual transmission. All that stuff is super awesome. It's labeled really good. They did a fantastic job. Okay, I apologize that it is a little dusty. I don't know if you can tell in the video or not, but I haven't gotten a chance to wipe it down after we took it out on the road the other day. So I wanted to point out here is I basically ordered the parts to make the intake. I did get, this is Power by the Hour's mass air meter housing and their filter. I made a little bracket down there that you can see to hold that up. And then I will be doing a shroud around that just to keep turbulent air from screwing with the mass air sensor. So anyway, there's the way I did the cold air. I think it looks pretty clean. I also put some holes in there to feed some cool air to that, so you're not just picking up air from around the headers and hot air from the radiator and stuff. To go along with the swap, I guess I could say I just got some hose to go from there to there. Same thing right there. It was a pain in the neck to get to fit on, but it did. And then that line goes back to the power brake booster. I did buy this piece so you can run a standard radiator hose onto it. That was from Power by the Hour as well. Okay, radiator time. This radiator is from Champion. It's a 3-core, and the cool thing about it is, well, with the Coyote engine, your radiator hoses are 1.5 inches. Champion makes a new one. I think it came out recently, but it bolts right into an F100. This one happens to be a 1967. Fit perfect. The quality is good. And the inlet and outlet are 1.5 inches to match the Coyote. Overflow bottle. What I did, I got this one from Evil Energy. I ran my hose down to the bottom. There's a drain underneath there. I ran the radiator hose from there down to there, just so when it gets vacuum in here, when you shut it off and it's cooling down, theory is it may suck some back into there. And then it has a nice little sight window over on the other side. I don't know if you could see that. You can see how much is in there if you need to drain it or whatever. For the radiator hoses, I did a little bit of research online. Some guys said you can use the factory Coyote radiator hoses. I was not able to. However, I did buy them. Probably they're kind of expensive. Might have been a waste of money. I think next time I'd go to the auto parts store and find the bends that I needed and then just make my own. Anyway, this is what I did for the radiator hoses. For the upper, you can see right there, this is a Coyote upper, and it was a little too long and not quite the right twist. So I got an aluminum, 3-inch aluminum coupler tube off Amazon right there and cut it and made it fit. Okay, on to the bottom one. The bottom one was very similar. Oh, you could just see down there, there's a little bit of a gap in the hose. So what I did was I took the Coyote lower radiator hose, I cut it in the middle because I had to lengthen it. So on that one, I got a 6-inch aluminum coupler off Amazon and extended that hose a little bit, and it worked. It's tight, but it works. Okay, this one is going to be specific to the Crown Vic. I had to notch the frame out right there to get the Mustang factory header to clear. I did make another brake line that crosses over there just to mate up with the booster up there. I ended up trying the 1-inch higher mounts. A lot of people do it, but I am mounting my cab lower than most people. I'm not running the body mount in there, so that posed a problem. We had to send him back. He sent us the regular height ones, so we got the brackets that shift the motor back and the standard height motor mounts. There we go. This is a much better spot to see the Outcast motor mounts. So yeah, there's that. They slide back and forth up here. You can see that there where I have it positioned. So it looks like it slid all the way forward, but it's actually moved back up on that. So up, if you could see, up on this plate is also adjustable. So you can't see it because the adjustability is behind. You can kind of see that there's a slot running up there. So that's how we did that. I tried to run an oil filter in the factory location. It was real close. I was not able to do that. I went with a On3 Performance oil filter relocation kit. I would not recommend that one. It's good quality, but I don't like the oil filter they put on it. It would have been nice if it still had the threaded section for the factory oil filter. Got my oil pressure gauge on it temporarily there, so when we were cranking it, we could make sure it had oil pressure. Down here on the cross member, if you're using a Crown Vic cross member, you'll recognize that it's different, but basically we took the cross member, flipped it 180, so that is facing back. Then it's not running into the transmission pan. Cut it out, plated it, and then that'll sit down. Driveline, to mate the driveline to a Ford 8.8 like what you would get here in the Crown Vic or an Explorer or anything like that, you need to go from that flange to, different than the old style with a slip yoke, you need to go to a flat 4-bolt. I don't have all my bolts in yet, so don't correct me on that. Anyway, you got to go to the flat flange there. Then the slip is in the driveline. So I had this driveline made by Potter Webster. It's a local place. They've done real good work with us in the past, and it's expensive because of that slip joint right there, or slip yoke, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, that's what you have to do there. For gauges, I did Dakota Digital. As you can see in here, I kind of like the vintage look. Ooh, I got my hand controls on. Still need a lot of cleanup in here. Gonna do carpet and all that stuff. And ooh, a dash pad, yuck, that thing's terrible. Anyway, the Dakota Digital gauges are pretty sweet. You have fuel, oil pressure, speed, RPMs, readout here for miles and a couple other things, clock over there, and then you have coolant temp up on the top right. That was all just kind of plug and play, easy to do. I also got the OBD2 piece, so you can plug that into the OBD2 port for the Coyote PCM, and it picks up RPM, speed, coolant temp, oil pressure. I had to run an oil pressure sensor that came with the Dakota digital gauges, so that all worked out super slick. There's only one thing I would probably change about the Dakota digital gauges. Hopefully you picked that out. 120 miles per hour max. That's not enough. I'll just let you know right away. That is not even going to be close to enough. But what can you expect? That's more than most people are going to do, but with some road course racing, open road racing that I hopefully plan to do with this truck, that is definitely not going to be enough. That's okay. You know, we'll have GPS speedo as well, so we'll take care of that with that. And as far as the Dakota digital in general, so far we've only been out for one drive, but it is working super good. They are awesome. Okay, fuel system. Right there we have our adapter to the factory Coyote fuel rail to 6AN. 6AN hose back to the regulator. You can see the feed and the return line going down there. Aeromotive regulator. Got my fuel pressure sensor right there. I won't get too much into the fuel system besides that because yours is going to vary depending on how much power you want to make and what kind of tank you have, what the application is. But that's the basics of the fuel system. You'll need a regulator, and 6AN line appears to be what most people are running, so I went with that. Okay, transmission cooler lines. I opted to leave the factory lines on the transmission running up to the front, and then I got the coupler lines to go from the hard lines from the transmission up to the transmission cooler, which I also got from a 2014 Mustang GT off eBay as well. They have brand new ones on there, brand new hoses. So the coupler hoses, you can kind of see, are down there. And I did a pretty good tuck on the tranny cooler. Let's see if you could see, you could just barely see it right there. Anyway, it's hiding there in front of the radiator. It fit in there pretty good. Come on, baby, focus for me. Yeah, there you can see it. But yeah, it's slick with the Champion black radiator and the black. I painted it black just so it would blend in because, as you can see, I don't have a lot of coupler. And what I don't like is when you see an aluminum radiator hanging out behind your... I like to see, one of the cool things on a 67 F100 is the grill, and I like an unobstructed view, so I did black on both of those. So I believe that rounds out everything in here. I painted my powered by Ford so that it would kind of match the Boss 302 intake. The reason why I did that, oh, and I got the Shelby Aluminum valve covers or cam covers, whatever you want to call them. The reason why I got those is when I got my engine on eBay from Butler Recycling, everything was super good. What I noticed, and I went back to the eBay ad pictures, when they pulled the engine, something cracked the back of the valve cover or cam cover. You could see it in one of their pictures. They said, hey, no problem, we'll reimburse you. So they reimbursed me for a valve cover, and I decided if I'm pulling one off, I'm just gonna get the aluminum ones, paint it to match the body. I thought I'd throw a little bit of color in there since I'm lame and everything's black, but I figured might as well do that. I kind of wanted that intake because it looks cooler than the Coyote intake, I think.
If you like our video, like and subscribe.